Rodgers is absolutely in the right when he's saying that he didn't demand players to be acquired by the Jets. And how it comes off, and now he did seemingly criticize the reporting or the reporters who said it. And I understand his point, though. It's this. He didn't come in and say, and we took it the same way, saying that, hey, we're going to put you through a test. You get these guys, you get me. He said on Friday, he's coming. And in terms of the players that, as Diana Rossini said, he delivered a list. I think he said something, he didn't put on some ceremonial garb and write it out on parchment. Maybe he's got your quill pen over there. And so I understand his frustration that it comes out with him saying, I'm demanding these players. He was asked, who'd you play with? And he kind of digs Lazard. He loves him. Of course he loves Cobb. You mentioned Mercedes Lewis. He's going to love him. Who wouldn't want Odell Beckham? I think that's what he said. Wasn't that the way that he said it?
Yeah.
So I understand his frustration that it comes out. Somebody obviously told Diana Rossini, hey, we have a list of players that he likes. And she wrote, he's given him a list. And it makes it seem like it's been a proclamation, and that's how he gets frustrated and angry. And another reason why I'm concerned about him going to New York, because the New York media does that stuff all the time. Yeah. And it's in big letters on back pages, multiple. And it's talked about nonstop, churned up, 24/7, 365 by longtime listeners, first-time callers, smoozing in the middle of the night, and mad dogging during the day. That's the way it goes. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's alienating the young players. The young players are the ones burning cheeseheads in their backyards and YouTube videos, wanting them to come. And Lazard is a pretty damn good player. So this is just the messiness of trying to make a big deal. And I keep saying it over and over again. It just reminds me of buying a house. Anybody who's been fortunate enough to make a real estate transaction, or unfortunate enough because it's so frustrating. Both sides ready to go. I want your house. I know you need to sell it. I know that. And I know you know that. And I know what you need. But somebody's going to demand that planters stay in the backyard. Otherwise, we're going to blow up the deal. And you look at your spouse and go, should we call their bluff? Like, should we flush the dream house down the toilet because this person is such a freaking lunatic that they're willing to blow up a deal of a real estate? That's what this seems like to me. Yesterday, and Rodgers, I'm sure if he saw it, he gets frustrated by it because he didn't make a proclamation. I said Randall Cobb was one of the planters in the backyard. At that point in time, he'd already told the Jets, I'm coming. And I'm sure the Jets want to rearrange the furniture in the new house to make sure that the guy who's essentially living there, because he can build it into a palace with his talents, is happy. I get it. And it comes across as like that person's doing this and that person's doing that, and it's not actually the way it seems. I understand. But all I know is if the Packers are asking for 2 firsts to make this happen, the Jets should dig their heels in too and say, you take them back. Because those are the planters we're not giving up in the backyard. The house is not for sale. And run the risk.
And then what? And then start Zach Wilson?
I got it. And then the Packers start Aaron Rodgers while Jordan Love sits, and everyone's kind of miserable that Aaron's miserable being back there.
Oh, bummer.
Or we just get it done because we all need it to get done, which is why it's going to get done. Everybody just breathe.
Aaron says relax.
Yeah. R-E-L-A-X?
R-E-L-A-X. How about it? How about you?
But it's on you for
Relax.
being stingy. Just give them up.
Stingy, it's too much. It's
not too much to get Aaron Rodgers and go to the Super Bowl.
Because,
guess what, Rich?
No.
When we go to the Super Bowl next year and you see Jets in the end zone, guess what you're not going to be thinking about? Those 2 first-round picks.
Got a point. Factual.
Still too much.
You're crazy.
I still say no, and I'm sure the Jets
You're
are.
going to fight this to the very end.
I am.
You're going to fight this to the very
And
end.
whatever is the holdup, Rodgers has placed firmly on the doorstep of the Packers. He's not sitting there saying to the Jets, why won't you give up the 2-1s for me? If that's what it is. Again, this could be, a whole conversation about not reality.
Yeah. True.
And he's laying it at the doorstep. He said, let me just say this, and then we'll take a break and finish up this program. This is what he said. When he said, as we discussed earlier, him saying that he's debatably the best player in the history of the franchise, that was the beginning of a very long soliloquy talking about how they're ready to move on. He's ready to move on, obviously. He loves the city, loved the fans, loved the region. It's never been about that. He said his life is better because of my time in Green Bay. But we just look at the reality. They want to move on. They don't want me to come back. And that's fine. They're ready to move on with Jordan. That's awesome. And Jordan's going to be a great player. He's an effing great kid. He had a really great year this year, and it's getting better. He's got a bright future ahead of him. And they've got a good young team. But the fact of the matter is, you have an aging face of the franchise for the last 15 years that it's time to do right by. Now, you could sit there and say they've done right by him by giving him what he wants since drafting Jordan Love. I get it. But now it is time to say goodbye. And for the 15 years, you don't hold it up for that extra thing or for the planter in the backyard. Sell the house.
God, I must have forgotten all those Super Bowl appearances in the last dozen years.
Sell the house.
This guy. I mean, come on.
Sell the house.
What if the house comes with 2 first-round draft picks?
Sell the house and keep the planners.
See, I don't know.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.